welcome back to my channel. My name is Regan and I am an American who lives in France. And now I am an American who has lived in France for an entire year. Yes, somehow I have survived and made it this long because most of the time I didn't think I was going to. So today I kind of want to cover some tips to help you battle and conquer your homesickness from another country. Now, some of you may know if you've watched my other videos that this is not my first time coming to France or to living in another country. I studied abroad for 4 months in France during 2014 before I moved here at the end of the summer in 2016, a year ago. Now, when I studied abroad, I had honestly maybe a week or 2 weeks of homesickness and then it was done. Whereas this time around, my homesickness lasted for 3 to 4 months, and honestly, I still feel homesick from time to time. So it's interesting because homesickness is kind of related to culture shock. There are different phases of culture shock. And if you think you might be going through culture shock, I really encourage you to look at those. But typically homesickness will start after the initial honeymoon phase of the first week or month of being in another country. And everything starts to be a little more frustrating. It's no longer cute and new. It doesn't feel familiar. And this is when it starts to get hard and when it's really, really easy to start missing home. There was a clinical psychologist and professor named Joseph Klapow, and he actually put a little spin on what we think of as homesickness. So he describes homesickness as the instinctive need for love and protection and security, feelings and qualities that are usually associated with home. So when we're feeling homesick, we're not necessarily, literally missing home. We're missing the feelings and the belonging and the security that we associate with being home. So my first tip to battle your homesickness is to keep yourself busy. If you are constantly running around, if your schedule is full, if you're always doing things, you don't have enough time to really stop and dwell on what you might be dealing with or some of the things that are making it difficult for you to be here. In addition, this kind of leads into my second tip. If you're always keeping yourself busy, you're probably going to start meeting new people. And another great way to cure or battle your homesickness is to make friends. A lot of the things that we miss from home, like companionship, familiarity, security, can be, recreated through new friendships. You feel less isolated, you feel less alone if you have someone you can lean on or do things with in your new country. Now, this isn't always easy to do. If you're coming to another country as a student, you kind of have new friendships built in because there's a lot of people looking to make friends at the same time. But maybe if you're coming for work like I did, it's not always apparent and as easy to make new friends. So I encourage you to look for Facebook groups for people in your kind of field, Erasmus, international, couch surfing groups, anything that can give you an opportunity to start meeting new people. If you're also in a country that speaks a different language, try to find a language exchange partner. That works a lot as well. And you already have a common interest in each other's language, that can help you connect. My fourth step is to try to recreate that honeymoon phase that you first experienced and become a tourist in your own city. Especially when you're feeling homesick, it's very easy to get down and out about the things that are different from your new country and your old home. So a way to do this is to try to look at it through your tourist goggles, to try to see things that maybe you didn't notice before and to look at them in a different way. Find ways to share exciting things, go to events, visit new restaurants. Try to be involved and excited about your new place, even if it's not always easy. And this kind of leads me to our fourth tip, which is to stop making comparisons. Now, this can be really, really hard because your frame of reference for everything you're experiencing is your past. But this is not going to make your homesickness any better if you're constantly comparing your new country to your old home. Sometimes you just have to, buck it up and say, this is how it is here. I may not like it, but I'm going to have to find a way to deal with it and try to find a new perspective. Maybe compare it to other experiences you've had in your new country rather than to your house, rather than to your old home and your old country and your old city and your old friends. Now, my fifth suggestion is to try to seek out other people who are going through the same thing as you or who have had similar experiences. So maybe this is a friend back at home, or someone, a friend of a friend of a friend that you were friends with on Facebook who's also spent some time in another country. Because something that I really struggled with was when I was, having a miserable time, when I was always unhappy. It's hard to talk to people at home because they're saying, oh, well, you're living in another country. You're living the dream. They don't quite understand how that can sometimes be difficult and not quite what it seems. So I really encourage you to look in your network and find someone who's going through the same experience as you are, or who has gone through the same experience as you're going through. This can also be someone in your program. You could make a new friend in your city, like I suggested earlier. Or, look through your network on Facebook. Maybe you know someone who's taught English abroad. Maybe you know someone who studied abroad who can kind of help and just let you vent and understand without being confused about how you could even feel this way. Another suggestion, if you can't seem to find a confidant, or maybe there's some more personal things about moving abroad that you don't want to talk about, is to try journaling. This is another great way to just get it out of your system, to release these emotions. But you don't necessarily need another person. So what helped me a lot at the beginning when I was dealing with my homesickness was to count down to when my family was going to come visit at Christmas. This gave me something to look forward to, and it made my time here seem a lot shorter. When I came, I didn't know if we were going to move back. At the earliest, I thought maybe 2 years if we did at all, which at that time, it seems absolutely massive. That's quite a long time. But having a goal or an event that's a little closer to count down to, that has a touch of familiarity, really, really helped me just kind of shift my perspective and be more positive on the situation. Now, my very, very last tip is probably the most difficult of all, but it's to change your perspective and choose happiness. There are so many things that are out of your control. When you are feeling the most down, try to remember that you are getting to do something that a lot of people don't get to do, and to be thankful for that. This is honestly the hardest for me because I'm like, I don't care, because I'd rather just go back home and I don't want to be here anymore. But sometimes this is what you have to do. When you find yourself reacting negatively to something, or when you find yourself being really, really upset, try to just step aside and be objective, change your perspective, and try to make the most of your situation and look for the positives. Alright guys, well, I hope this has been kind of helpful for you, or maybe more than a little helpful. If you're dealing with homesickness, feel free to shoot me a private message on Twitter or Instagram, and I'm always here to help and talk. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.